The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson, read by the English Juf. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey-blue humpback whale. Dit is het verhaal van een kleine slak en een grote walvis. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithers all over the rock. Hij gaat over de hele steen heen and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. Oh, de kleine slak wil op avontuur. Ze wil de grote wereld zien. These are the other snails in the flock, who all suck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it! I'll hitch a lift." Alle slakken zeggen, doe nou rustig, blijf lekker zitten. Maar de kleine slak, die wil weg. Dan heeft ze een idee. Ik ga liften. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, wat staat daar? Lift wanted around the world. Een lift rond de hele wereld. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering eyes and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. Dit is de walvis, die kwam op een avond toen het vloed was en zei tegen de slak, dit zijn alle mooie dingen in de wereld. And this is the tail of the humpback whale. He held it out to the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." Hij zegt, kom maar mee, klim maar op mijn staart. Daar gaat de slak. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail. Kijk, daar gaan ze door de zee. To towering icebergs and far-off lands. Grote ijsbergen en ver weg land. With fiery mountains and golden sands. Kijk, ook nog een vulkaan en een aapje. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed. Kijk, die grote golven. The tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. De vissen met streepjes en de haaien met grote tanden. Ze zwemmen overal onder water. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm. Soms is de lucht mooi warm en blauw en soms is er een grote onweersbui. With zigzag lightning flashing and frightening, the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sea, the sky, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, I feel so small. Ik voel me zo klein in al dit grote land. But then came the day the whale lost his way. Dit was de dag dat de walvis verdwaalde. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. Die enge boten. De walvis schrikt en zwemt te dicht bij de kust. This is the tide slipping away. Daar gaat het water, het wordt eb. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. Daar ligt hij dan. Quick, off the sand, back to the sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land. I am too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. De slak heeft een idee. Waar zal ze heen gaan? This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board, as black as soot. Wat was er nog meer zo zwart als roet? And this is the snail with the itchy foot. A snail, a snail! The teacher turns pale. Look, said the children, it's leaving a trail. Kijk, hij laat een spoor achter. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, wat staat er? Save the whale. These are the children running from school, fetching the fireman, digging a pool. Kijk, daar rennen de kinderen. En daar komt de brandweer. Squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. Kijk, ze houden hem goed nat en koud. This is the tide coming into the bay. Daar komt het water weer. And these are the villagers shouting, hooray! As the whale and the snail travel safely away. Kijk, daar gaan ze weer. Tot ziens, zeggen ze. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? Kijk, ze zijn weer terug. Iedereen zegt, wat is het snel gegaan? Wat ben je groot geworden? And the snail and the whale told their wonderful tale of shimmering eyes and coral caves, and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Ze vertellen hoe de slak het leven heeft gered van de walvis met haar plakkerige spoor. Then the humpback whale held out its tail and on crawled snail after snail after snail. Allemaal klimmen ze op zijn staart. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail. Ze zingen als ze de zee opgaan. On the tail of the grey-blue humpback whale.